What's the big idea? We're on our way to the John Elliott Center for Architecture and Environmental Design, where we'll talk with Dr. Sarah Baramzadeh about her research and design of Level 1 trauma centers and her use of models and building models to conduct that research. Dr. Baramzadeh, welcome to What's the Big Idea?
Hi, President Daikon, thank you.
What's the big idea behind the design and the research into trauma rooms?
We decided to focus on the design of trauma rooms because the types of patients that we get, they deal with very traumatic experiences, and it's a matter of life and death usually, and traumatic injuries are the fourth leading cause of death in the U.S.
You must have a lot of research partners in this work.
That's correct. We have partners such as Cleveland Clinic Akron General, and we're also inside Kent State University working with the College of Nursing, Psychology, and our healthcare design program.
So I know, Dr. Baramzadeh, that you build models as part of this work, so why don't we hop into the car and we'll look at one of your models.
Sounds good.
As we make our way over to the Design Innovation Hub, I want to ask you this question. When you were 16, did you think, you know what, I'm going to become an architect and design trauma rooms?
Absolutely not. Well, when I was 16, I was starting to think what I want to be, but I never thought that there's an expertise in hospital design. So I received a bachelor's in architecture, and then I continued to a master's in architecture, and that's when I was exposed to the idea of healing environments and hospital design.
What's the hardest thing about designing a trauma room?
It's a very crowded environment. The trauma team can be as large as 17 people, so it is very chaotic. The team has limited time to save the patient. So the stress level is very high, the noise level is very high because everybody is talking over each other.
What kind of things are your students learning?
We built models as part of a design studio, so our students dedicated a studio to design variations of trauma rooms, and we're going to see one of the models that is from that studio.
We're here at the Design Innovation Hub, and we're going to walk over to one of your smaller models. Can you talk to us about why you build models? What do models teach you?
Models are very important in our field in architecture. It really helps students to visualize things. We look at the proximities, the design itself, how it's working. So a scale like this is very helpful, but we also went for a full-scale mock-up of the room. So that allowed us to invite Cleveland Clinic clinicians, and they came to play some scenarios, trauma scenarios, and we were able to, based on their interactions with the environment, evaluate our design strategies. And this was a smaller model that also helped us with our discussions, and they were able to see the bigger picture as we were discussing some of the design strategies.
What are some of the things you've learned about the design of trauma rooms?
This area that you see, it's anteroom, and this is a new concept that we introduced to trauma rooms. So the purpose of this anteroom is to create a buffer between outside and inside the trauma room. That helps with noise control, which is very important. This is also a good model for having temperature control. Patients tend to lose a lot of blood, and because of that, their body temperature drops. This buffer helps with that, delaying the temperature drops or fluctuations.
I think you mentioned this earlier. There might be, what, 15, 17 people in a trauma room when it's in action?
Yes, it can be up to 17 people.
So it's really important to think through what equipment goes where.
We want to make it as efficient as possible. So understanding what role each person has, and making sure that they are close to the equipment that they need depending on what they do. We have to think about all these things.
On a project like this, when does the research end? Like, when is it over?
This is a 4-year project. We are just ending our 3rd year. So we have 1 more year working on this project, and we are hoping to develop some design guidelines for trauma room designs that architects can use.
That would eventually end up as designs in trauma rooms of the future.
Yes, exactly.
Well, Dr. Baramzadeh, this has been really interesting. It's been great to hear about your research, the collaborative nature, how our students benefit from their interactions with your research. And I think we can all agree that this is really a big idea. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.